I'm a motorcyclist, and this year is my 10th year risking my life pointlessly for just the sheer joy of riding an engine. You sit on an engine and go. This is my 99 Electroglide Classic. Twin cam motor with a carb. I love that. But I've had this for ages, about 6 to 7 years. At one stage, this was my car. I mean it. This was my everyday car, basically. I worked as a music teacher. Teaching bag was that one, and that one was basically a toolbox to keep it alive. I've never had any money. I was like dirt poor right up until my Dank Pods channel took off in 2020, right? And the way that I got this was flicking and selling bikes. You know, like, a good old mate of mine lent me $2,000 to go pick up an old Yamaha, which I flicked and sold, and I flicked and sold, and I flicked and sold, and I flicked and sold, rode to Melbourne and back to swap for another bike, and then sold for this. This was the cheapest bagger going. I love baggers. I don't do the twisty hills. I don't do the sport bike stuff. I love doing everyday activities on a bagger. It's not easy. Oh gosh, and the owner before me just decked this thing out with every piece of chrome in the catalog from back in 99. This is an absolute nugget. Like, this has just kind of been through the mill. And in 2020, I actually did treat myself to a new Harley. I wanted my first ever new vehicle to be a bike, something that I was gonna keep forever, right? Dream bike having a Road Glide. No one has Road Glides in Australia. But yeah, I picked up a Road Glide and it was terrible. The hydraulic clutch was a mess. It was literally unrideable. The screen and the GPS, which I was excited about, was worthless, worse than a Temu tablet. It just didn't sound that good, like, because Harley's taken all the fun out of those M8 engines. And I even had my Screaming Eagle kitted out. It was 2,000 cc's, right? I had it special built, my special dragon that I was gonna just ride from the rest of my days. I was even getting into the hog membership so I can get the pins for putting like big mileage in, because I lived on a bike. And then it started dripping oil and I just gave up on it. I didn't even like it. I got it so I didn't have like an old clanger anymore, and it was already an old clanger, basically, and it was having sumping issues. That Road Glide was gearing up to blow its brains out just out of warranty. It was a bad bike, right? And Harley bought it back off me. I kept it serviced. I did all the hoops and rings and things. So luckily buying it back was easy. But yeah, I took a big loss on that. Like, it's part of my hatred of new combustion engines, guys. Like, I actually gave this to my father-in-law, and that was really, so I was really happy to do that, like, because he loved this bike. You know, he doesn't want to pick up this huge heavy bagger anymore. And let me show you. The drive belt's meant to be there, and there is no drive belt. It snapped the drive belt on poor Gaz. Sorry, Gaz. But mate, the last time I saw the odometer on this thing, and it doesn't work, by the way. Actually, before I tell you that number, motorbikes are weird when it comes to mileage. Like here, like 80,000 kilometers on a bike is a lot. For a car, that's like a new car. But motorbikes work harder, they're different. Well, this guy flashed 300,000 kilometers. No, the engine hasn't done that many kilometers, but he did tell me that it'd done 90,000 kilometers, this second motor, because he blew the first one up doing something ridiculous. Look at this. That's where you put the oil in, and it's got a little screw in it, so he'd attach a chain, so every time it would like spit it out due to like the blow by, he wouldn't lose the oil cap. I'm only the second owner. I got this from the original dude. I actually got an AU Falcon wagon's worth of parts for this. Dude rode this thing. He rode and loved this bike, and he's got a brand new CVO, whatever. He was a very wealthy, well-off dude, and to him, this was the old clanger, and it's my favorite combustion thing. This is it. I love the noise this makes. I love how it looks. It's really dirty at the moment. That's Frank's old vines and things, and James put it on it. And the reason why we're finally talking about it is because now it finally cleaned up the warehouse. This has been stinking out the warehouse this whole time. So like, it's good that we just introduce it so you're used to seeing it. We're not going to be able to get it on the road, but I'd love to get all the old fuel out of this thing. And I'd actually love just to hear it start. So I know it's gonna fire up like it's nothing. I want to hear it. I want to hear it through this super trap exhaust. Oh, these are awesome. I prefer twin pipes. I really do. But this is like the greatest exhaust pipe you can put on a twin cam. And it does look neat. It's got all the baffles in it too, so you can really quiet it down. I will pull them all out before the end, don't worry. These bags light up, by the way. I mean, they did at one point. They never have for me. All the hand controls, like all this is billet aluminium. This is really expensive stuff, and it's all genuine. Like these indicators up here with the shorty windscreen, because normally they have a huge, like Dorcas one. I love the lights. This is just so classic looking. To me, this is a design that's never going out of fashion. It's always gonna look beautiful. Well, that's my emotional ramble about bikes and the fact that like for about 3 or 4 years, it was my daily car. And this, like, if it was raining outside, I'd be like, oh, well, I better put my wet weather gear on. And I'd take old Susie out. I'd love to have the combo of daily driving the Leaf and the Harley. that sounds like a really, really fun combo. So James, this is your first time on a bike? Like dealing with bikes?
Yep, never done anything.
Yeah, and it's a Harley Davidson. I've worn out one. So yeah, we're gonna get the petrol out of this thing. There's heaps. But the thing about these tanks is that they're actually two halves. It's not one tank. It's because like the spine of the frame goes up it. So there's actually a McJoyner there. Yeah, see? Yeah, look, fuel tap, old school. I love that this is a carbureted one because they went to fuel injection pretty quick. But it's fine that 99 brand new bikes still carbureted. But brand new Yamahas still come with carbs, so, you know, take that. My beloved footboards, I love big footboards. And the heel shifter, that's standard equipment on like Electra Glides back in the day. And nowadays on my Road Glide, no, you gotta pay money to have that. You know, in shitification, everyone's doing it. Oh, and that's a thermofan because this be air-cooled naturally. Again, one of my favorite things about Harleys being like air-cooled because water and metal don't mix. This is the fun thing about these Electra Glides is that, look, it's got a full radio. I love all the gauges. You get, look, air temperature for the air cooling. It's so good. But, you know, the speakers are in here too. You have to steer this when you're steering. Like, you have to work your entire front radio and also all these lights on the front. So it affects the handling a little bit. So it's really fun taking this to the shops.
On?
Is it? I've got it set to reserve, which is where you turn it all the way around because that's your low fuel indicator. So when you're running out of fuel, you set it to reserve, and then you can get home.
I didn't know it was there.
Yeah, there's actually two pickups like this, like a taller one and a shorter one. A lot of bikes don't have fuel gauges. This one does, which is why I like Electra Glides. Modern bikes now tend to have them, but for the youngest of times, no freaking fuel gauge. I think this petrol's about 2-3 years old. So it's not crazy vintage. It might even work, but I don't want to send it through this carburetor. Like, this is one of my favorite combustion engines in the world, this guy. And yeah, I'm not sending this rubbish through it. It's actually got a Screaming Eagle carburetor. It's heaps good. Had it tuned and everything. So James, you're gonna suck it out. Ooh.
No, nothing's coming out.
Oh.
I'm pulling vacuum on the gauge.
Ooh.
You can hear it bubbling.
Yeah, so James is pushing air in now, and I've opened up the fuel, so that's where that is. Cool.
So now, if I turn it off again...
Start sucking.
It's already coming.
Ooh.
A little bit. It's, I do have it in the off position, so it's not really meant to be, but I am pulling fuel through now. Okay.
Yay.
Yeah, we unblocked it.
Oh, we get to look at it.
Yep, it's mixed with silicon brake fluid, so it's a little bit of a weird colour. I went below the tank.
Yay.
It's got a restrictor on it, which I'm going to have to get rid of. But...
That's right, the fuel's coming out, and that's all that matters.
Yep.
Got to drain the float bowl, because it's carb, mate. Because, yeah, there's all that stale, paint-smelling, varnishy fuel, which did smell worse the more of it that came out, and a lot of it came out. Guess we better check if it's actually got oil as well. Oh yeah, it's black. Means there's some in there. Yeah, air filter, looking gross. Here's a cleanable one. Oh, we're just gonna let it trickle everywhere, are we?
Well, where else is it gonna go?
Well, like a little cup or something. Oh, look how orange it is.
It's gross, yeah.
Yeah, it's paint.
Yeah.
Yep, and I'm glad now this whole bike now stinks of varnish. Whoa, shouldn't have opened this bag. That stinks. This used to fill up with mold. But then in the summer, it gets so hot in Australia with the black that it would just kill everything in it. There'd just be this like yearly exodus of the mold. Man, this bike always shines up. Look, I've just inappropriately hit it with a microfiber, which is, you don't do that. It's not good for the paint. But I'm telling you, Harley paint back in the day is like so thick with clear coats. It always shines up, always. But look at it, almost looks like a new bike. So yeah, just put some fuel in it. I'm just gonna mix it up with whatever's left in there. Make a blend. Flush some more fuel through the carb. It's still coming out kind of dish soap looking.
This was the fuel that was sitting in the float bowl, mixed with new fuel. So
yeah, it'll be fine. These things are basically tractors. That's the fun of them. The real fun and pleasure of working on bikes is like there's no bonnet. There's nothing, like there's the engine. You can just lick it like without having to touch anything. And to get to everything under the seat, which is the battery and like all sorts, it's one Phillips head lad. That's it. And this whole thing pulls out, comes off. It actually clips under here with like a sleeve of metal. My hand's dirty. Hey,
easy.
Yeah, it's so easy. This is fun. And there's a little wee battery, which costs a fortune because they're glass pack ones.
Battery.
Yeah. Oh, she's plugged into a bat. Right. Let's see what the dashboard do. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's what I remember. Yeah, cool. They're all lighting up. So normally you give it a bit of choke and all that, but I don't think she's gonna need it. But a few twists, get the feel going. All right. Let's see what she do. Oh, what a beauty! First go just straight away. Oh, Susie, you sweetie. It's still got all the baffles and it will pull some of them out. But I love this idle. It's inefficient as junk, but it sounds great. Look at that rough and tumble.
Oh, they're long.
Oh yeah, because there's heaps of baffles, heaps, like you can see them all stacked up like chips, like Pringles.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that you dial in how many you want. I forgot how many I used to use. I actually did spend the time to tune this, but we're just gonna get rid of all of them just so we can hear it yell. I told you, it's like a big stack of Pringles. Yeah, that's all of them. So yeah, they've all been put back, which is great. Time to fire it up again. It does have a muffler. That is the muffler. But then, like, the stack of Pringles is the bonus. Oh, it's like muscle memory now. Good old Susie.
A lot louder.
Yeah, man. 2 big cylinders. 50 horsepower's never been so noisy. Yeah, look at the way she kicks and shakes around. This is so good. I'm getting excited. That's funny, I forgot the drive belt snapped. That's the whole reason why, you know, she's not going anymore. And because, the speedo's just hanging at 20. All right, well that needs work. The speedo is spinning because it was actually spinning parts of the gearbox. Well, that's Susie to Harley. So good to hear her fire up. First pull, off went. Such a good bike, never let me down, except for times that she did. And yeah, there is like a used belt here that we've got. It's hard as a piece of plastic. It's not gonna last nothing at all. and I remembered a previous issue that really kept kicking me. It likes to snap front engine mount bolts. You heard me. I remember I used to have a kit in here to replace it like every month or two. We'll figure that out. So yeah, we're gonna get a lift. I wanna ride this within the next couple of weeks. And now that I've said that, it's gonna take months. Ah, dang it.